in it.
Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. AJ back in the house with Rudo and Blais as the Avs take on the Montreal Canadiens in a game that, would be cool if the Avs won.
This is where I should slip in the roommate story.
We should dedicate
a pregame show and
never speak of it again.
Not tell anybody, and have the headline and like all the stuff on the side is like normal, and then just do the roommate story, and then it's done, and we're out.
When people ask for it, just be like, "I already did it."
Yep.
Where?
Like, hey,
not going to tell you.
If you don't watch the pregame shows, then what can I? Yep, you got to. Thought you were a diehard.
The big news for the Avs lineup tonight, Dennis Malgin is in the building and ready to play.
Cool. I was up late last night watching all of his shifts.
Yeah. Nice and tipsy watching Malgin shifts.
He was there was also a brief detour into watching every goal that Tage Thompson has scored in the NHL, which was really funny.
He went down the rabbit hole.
It started with his most recent and got to last year, where I was like, all the goals that he scored this year are like he's either making an insane play or he just hammers a puck past a goaltender. Yeah. And you get into last year and you're like, how'd this guy score 35? Like, there's a lot of cheap ones. And then this year, they're all sick. So yeah, no, Dennis Malgin, really, like, he's been playing next to JT and Mitch Marner up in Toronto, which makes the deal from their perspective a little odd to me. Like, that guy's playing next to a couple of them, guys, like $11 million players,
and producing nothing.
And he has, 4 points in 22 games this year, and he's really, like, I'm watching him on that line, and he's really not an active part of anything going on, good or bad. He's not hurting them, and to be honest with you, it's really like Mitch Marner was doing dope shit, and the other two guys are
hanging out.
JT's turning pucks over, and it was really telling. There was one sequence in particular in the Toronto-Washington game where Marner makes a great seam pass from the point to JT in the corner, and Malgin is completely alone in front of the net, completely. And two guys attack JT.
They'll let that guy beat you.
And JT does not even attempt to pass the puck to Malgin and tries to go back to the point. And it gets broken up and goes the other way.
Yeah.
And I watched it on video and was like, there is no trust in this guy from these line mates of his. So you might be excited about, he's going to give more than Dryden Hunt. Stylistically, he'll make a lot more sense than Dryden Hunt, especially if they do want to put him with some skill players.
Sure.
But I'm
there's
just
still
saying,
some limitations
I'm
there,
just saying, like, really seriously temper some expectations. The downside of Val Nichushkin is that everybody thinks that Colorado has the magic elixir to fix every player. If that were the case, then Dryden Hunt wouldn't have gotten traded.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, just be realistic with your expectations of Malgin. He hasn't practiced with the team. He doesn't really know what's going on.
He's kind of a look-off guy for the top six.
Just, and he'll go out and score 3 points tonight. Whatever.
And the Avs will have the magic elixir in the end.
Yeah. Yo, shout out Randy. Happy birthday tomorrow.
All right. Getting into tonight's game. Yes, Malgin will be joining the lineup. Pretty easy replacement, giving Andrew Cogliano is missing the next 2 games. So it's just he slots in. Will he play center? Maybe. Whatever. We'll see. But
he shouldn't, but okay.
He's center of that fourth line, probably.
The fourth line wasn't already going to play. I mean,
yeah. Hasn't been playing.
It's true. Not getting a whole lot of minutes down there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So.
136 is offensive.
Dude, that was ridiculous.
Which kind of leads us into our next topic here, balancing the roster. AJ, you talked about it on the podcast the other day. You can get away with overplaying your top guys a little bit.
Yeah.
We've seen historically, and it's been really good from JT Compher. I don't want to take anything away from that guy.
It's been really passable.
But historically, you get that guy into 10, 12, 15 games playing above his head, and it hits a brick wall.
Yep.
How do they figure out ways to balance this lineup a little bit better? Do they just need guys to step up and start scoring, or is there something specific they can target to make this work?
Well, for one, I don't want to like
Dunk on
have
anybody?
I don't want to have like an axe to grind on this,
Sure.
but like the organization's approach to Martin Kaut needs to stop being so personal.
Agree.
And needs to start making a little bit more of a hockey sense, because if Malgin is going to be on that fourth line, Martin Kaut's played decent enough hockey for you. Ben Myers has looked pretty good.
Yep.
Alex Newhook really looks like he's starting to pop at left wing.
Yep.
Like there you go. Like you've got some guys that you start to feel like, hey, like put some trust in some of these guys. It's been impressive the way that they've gotten away with the de facto second line of fourth line guys. Cogliano and LOC and, JT Comfort's not really a fourth line guy, but, he's kind of their Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
And with him on that top line, Evan Rodrigues helps out. Evan Rodrigues looks really good. That should help. And Valnichushkin elevates any line that he's on, so that's good. But really, it's not. Production would help, but also like it's hard to bag a couple of their depth guys for not scoring when they're barely getting opportunity here. It's a little circular of an argument. It's chicken and egg kind of conversation, because you are talking about well, they're not producing, so why would you give them more time? Well, they're not getting very much time, so it's hard to produce. Yeah. And so I think it's, and as we've seen with Kaut, production hasn't necessarily mattered for like increasing his role.
Yep.
But some of these other guys, Ben Myers has had a number of good scoring chances. We'll start to put those in, and I think you'll see some of it level off just a little naturally. And a goal from Eric Johnson would be wonderful, just so I can stop thinking about it.
I think he's probably thinking about it as well.
A goal from Sam Girard would help a lot too.
Yeah.
Sure would.
He's been looking a lot better over the last few games.
So I don't want to like shadow box my Twitter mentions on a pregame show.
Are you sure?
But I will say the Girard haters, the one thing that I think they should try to focus on more. I understand the frustrations with getting shots blocked and stuff, but
Look at his defensive game.
watch how disruptive he has been with the stick, especially in the corners and in passing lanes, because he's really been an impact defender over the last, I would say, week and a half. Yep. I've really, really liked the defensive side of his game. The offensive side of the game is left me wanting, but it's not been the total collapse that I think a lot of people are pretending it has been. So I'll use the post-game show to shadow box those fools.
There you go. You can do that later. Do it on the watch along.
But that's where the balance I do think will help is,
yeah,
you have some production, you do get some of that, and the coaches maybe ease up a little bit and say, okay, I can put these guys out there.
Yeah.
And boy, does Evan Rodrigues really, really help.
Where does this team find the balance point of physicality versus skill? Because it's pretty clear they're just not finishing very well right now, even if it is a great game from Sorokin the other night.
Yeah.
Is Curtis McDermott enough
Getting
physicality
interviewed right now
for
on
the
TV.
Avs bottom six? Or do they need to ramp that up a little bit?
From the physicality side,
Yeah.
I think they kind of need to get away from it. If you're playing a guy like him a minute 36, he's not really bringing anything to the game whatsoever. True. I think you're asking more of your bottom six guys to be a little bit more physical, which you have seen, though, even with Mikko Rantanen over the last few games.
It's true.
He has brought his game up, and it's more physical, and you're seeing it from the lineup that has skill. I just don't think you can bring in, like, old-school hockey, and bring in these guys that can't skate, that can't keep up with the game, and go, hey, go out there and cause some trouble, because you're going to get burned. There's just too much skill that you're playing against where it's a liability for the team.
Well, I think that's where we saw the Dryden Hunt experiment really was a letdown, is that the one thing that was really billed, he was a fine skater. He fit Colorado's identity in that way, but the physicality was too inconsistent. And that's one of those things that we always use LOC as this example, because LOC has mastered the art of being repeatedly bland.
Yeah.
Where he does two things really well, and he just does them every day. And that was the thing that we saw Hunt was, because when Hunt had his good games, he changed them. He had impact on them. He was noticeable, and you're like, man, it is not hard to envision this guy in a playoff series being a little wrecking ball on their fourth line and really getting under some skin after like game 3 or 4. But he really was just so hit or miss with it that and there was nothing else in his game that was making up for it.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about a guy like you get into like a Curtis McDermott, a Jacob McDonald, it's like with Jaycon, you want to see, hey, let's see him attack
Show a little
more.
flash.
Let's see him move a puck. Let's see him get aggressive and shoot absolutely everything.
Yeah.
With McDermott, you know, you want to see him physically overwhelm somebody on a forecheck. You want to see him put the fear of God into a shaky puck handler on the back end. You know, a third pairing guy. You want to see him attack him on the other team.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about Montreal tonight, you want to. Are we in for an Arbor versus Curtis showdown?
I hope so.
Like, it seems inevitable, right? That those two guys are going to drop the gloves and pound that one out.
All right. If Curtis wins, can he be LAN and Arbor can be Wi-Fi?
Yeah. I'm good with that. The literal fate of the internet connection is on the line in that inevitable fight. But like with McDermott, like you need to see like him going out there. He was kind of a wrecking ball the other day, but he took a penalty.
Yep.
And that's too big of a negative for really minimal positives.
He was fine in the first period, but then he just, like, after that penalty, he gone.
Barely played.
Gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
AJ, I know you had thoughts on Evan Rodrigues.
I think he's the key to that balance that you were talking about. Just because he has been really since the first like 4 games of the season. Since he's been in the lineup,
he's darn consistently.
He's been the
productive.
glue. He's been the bridge between your top line scoring and the other guys. We see him create chances. He's won 2 shootouts for them.
Yep.
That's 2 points. That's 2 standings
With the
points.
same move.
Yeah, well,
Just cleaned it up.
And it's such an unbelievably good move that I'm blown away that you don't see other elite puck handlers like being like, look how far these goalies are. The goalies that he has smoked on that move are Igor Shesterkin and Ilya Sorokin.
Pretty good dudes.
Guys who are going to be jockeying for
not
Vezina
bad.
trophies over the next decade.
Yeah.
And he made them both look bad.
It's not like, oh, he beat him. It's like he sent those dudes to Narnia.
like Ilya Sorokin was exceptional the other day in what might be the best goaltending performance any goalie has in a single game all year long this whole year.
And it's a loss.
And Evan Rodrigues made a goalie that was absolutely locked in at the highest level imaginable look bad. Yeah. Bad.
All right. I do have a question for you guys. It's pretty specific and cheating, but that's okay. Remove the injury factor. Do you guys think the Avs have been lucky or unlucky this year?
Unlucky.
I'd go unlucky, too.
Okay. Obviously, take these stats with a grain of salt. Their PDO is .998, so almost dead on average.
Yeah, and it was a little high before the injuries really, really got out of hand.
Yep.
So it's been more like a slow decline.
So the recency bias has them being unlucky a little bit.
The big thing is what brought their PDO crashing down very quickly is that they stopped scoring.
Yep.
And stopped getting high-level goaltending of 5v5 at the same time. And given how PDO is calculated,
those two things will crash your PDO pretty quick.
Your shooting percentage and your save percentage going in the wrong direction at the same time will crater a PDO.
Well, and look at the Buffalo game, right? Like, metrics-wise, like,
yeah, they dominated that
whole game.
See, I'm glad somebody else didn't have a huge problem with that game.
They can dominate it and still be problematic.
Yeah.
We fighting over this.
I wanted to fight the entire fan base after that Buffalo game. I started to, and then I was like, I'm cold. This office doesn't have any heat. I'm going to bed. There was no shadow boxing the Menchies. It was just boxing.
You just straight up throwing punches.
Yeah.
Well, some of the takes too, though, is like you lost to Buffalo, their bottom feeders.
Well,
You're like,
yeah, that's
whoa,
not-
whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa!
that's
Obviously,
not-
you haven't been paying attention to
Yeah.
what's going on over there.
You look at their record, and you're like, look, Buffalo, the difference between Buffalo this year and Buffalo last year is last year Buffalo lost 5-1, and this year Buffalo's losing 5-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have $5 here from Pin King, who says, "Stay warm tonight, tomorrow, and Friday, people." It's gnarly out there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wear all polyester, you'll be fine. This thing does not breathe.
Man, I bought this jacket in preparation of going to Finland. LOL.
Is there enough time in between what happened?
It's good to laugh. I bought and it got me through Winnipeg. No
Just
problem.
fine? Yeah.
No
Nice.
problem. And like I was walking down the street and I was like, coldest part of my body right now is the only exposed one is my hands. So
I've got one of those big, puffy North Face jackets that you can only wear up there.
no interest.
George Costanza, though, you know, the puffball.
No interest, man. I already have a hard time getting through a grocery aisle or whatever without bumping into stuff. That's not gonna happen.
I've also got a lime green Pele down jacket.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
All I know is lime green, and I'm out.
2000 hip hop video.
Okay, like that puffy.
Yeah.
All right.
So like in a boy band, you can only wear that if you have frosted tips.
Or Timberlands.
I'm down with that too.
All right, stop talking about rich people stuff and start making us some money here, Blais.
Rich people stuff. All right. Well,
Yeah, let's talk about that $5,000 cash envelope again.
yeah. Oh,
You son of a bitch.
all right. Let's get into the bets here.
You want to get your own cash envelope.
Take some of these bets. The first one, after last game, I thought that was going to be the game where they kind of broke the mold and started scoring a little bit. I'm going to ride it again. So over 6 goals plus 100. How you guys feeling about that?
Yep.
All right.
I'm
I
in.
like it.
I do,
Wow.
I'm
think
in.
I do think the
In.
Avs are going to break out tonight, and I'm betting the rest of it on Cole Caulfield.
Yeah, Cole Caulfield will score.
No, he won't.
Yeah.
No.
Miko, he had 10 shots on net last game, so 3.5. Sure, why not at minus 125? Feels like free money. And then because they are playing the Canadiens, a lucky anytime goal at plus 185. Stunt on your old team.
I mean, if you're going to get to the over, you'd like to see guys like Lecky and his Shin start putting pucks in the net. That's for sure.
Nuke needs to score.
That's my breakout of the game is I think Nuke is going to have a multi-goal game.
Yeah.
It's coming. You could just
Not this
see.
one. You should hear this one. The way he's been talking
I said
about
he's not scoring again for another 92.
Mr. Positive over here.
What have I walked back into?
Not a serious take,
you guys.
obviously.
You guys have let Rudo off the chain.
This has been the good vibes couch for a while.
Yeah, I've been sitting over there, and we had the Hoot On homies on this couch, and me being the hater.
So the believers, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, world was built on dreamers.
Doesn't matter that he's in his 30s.
I think he's not in his 30s.
not, he's
He's like
27.
28, yeah.
Hey, okay, so he's been around the league for a while.
I mean, he's got 100 NHL games.
Yeah.
Around Montreal.
He made
for a
it.
while.
All right,
Should've had him in this game.
they should have. Any final thoughts tonight before we get into the watch along and all that?
And not to be too like dismissive of Montreal because we barely
gotta
talked about
beat
him in
this
this
team.
preview show, but I kind of just feel like we're in for one of those.
Body mode,
Like
yeah.
I think this is gonna be like a 3-0 at the end of 2 periods, like pretty chill third period, like a very good, not unlike the Nashville win, but maybe without the 1-goal game in the third period for a few minutes.
It feels like it's been building for the Avs, and Montreal just isn't a very good team.
Well, and it just feels like the Avs have been playing really, really well, and
Yeah.
things have not, like the goal scoring just really hasn't followed, and they've missed so many good chances that you're like, It's coming.
Well, and these are the games that you got to win,
So,
right? Like,
yep.
especially when you have these injuries that are plaguing the Avalanche. Like, you want to win these games against teams that you should beat.
Well, and you go from how differently do you feel about a 4-1 homestand and a 3-2 homestand?
Right.
With a loss to Montreal.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Where you take care of business against all of the teams that you should take care of business against, except the Buffalo game where 10 bad minutes cost you.
Yep.
You're looking at it was almost you win this game. You're talking about they were maybe 10 minutes of decent play away from a perfect homestand.
Yep.
And so finish strong, getting ready to go into their first 3-day break, multi-day break in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. And so I do think that we're in for a Montreal getting potentially walked here.
Cool. Love it.
You win tonight, you remain over 500 for the month of December. And that's all you can ask for from
We're
the
talking
Avs
about
right now.
we always break it into 10-game segments.
Yep.
We talked about survival.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a game that when we were looking at the roster, we were going, can we get to that Montreal game? All right, you're here. You're healthier than you were maybe expecting to be in that game. Go take care of business. Just same mentality, attack mentality, grind mentality, hard work, and I think they're going to be fine.
Well, even at the beginning of the month too, you're like looking at the schedule after McKinnon goes down, and you're looking at it, and you're like, oh man, they're going to be out of a wild card position. Like they're going to have to just kind of hold on to get back into that wild card. And right now, you're sitting in that wild card position in striking distance. I think it's the Wild right now. They might
In
be
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the Wild have had the world's easiest schedule.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
about to kick back up, and they're going to have to not play Anaheim and San Jose every
Yeah,
game.
that's true.
So,
All right. On that note, we're going to get out of here for the pregame. We have a watch along coming along. If that's your thing, join that. Or at very least, join us for the postgame afterward where we break everything down on the night. Either way, we hope to see you soon, and we will talk to you in a little bit.